Tonight, that New York Times report says a pair of White House officials played a role in this stunning allegation 8 days ago. The Republican chair of the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes, charging U.S. spies incidentally surveilled President-elect Trump.
The president-elect and his team were, I guess, at least monitored.
Now, the Times identifying those officials as 32-year-old Michael Ellis, a White House lawyer who formerly worked on the House Intelligence Committee staff, and 30-year-old Ezra Cohen-Watnick, the senior director for intelligence at the National Security Council. Sources tell NBC News President Trump recently overruled an attempt to fire Cohen-Watnick, a protege of ousted National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Nunes has repeatedly refused to reveal his source, but says even though he reviewed the information on White House grounds, White House officials were not involved.
No, and in fact, I'm quite sure that I think people in the West Wing had no idea that I was there.
But if that source turns out to be a White House official, it would be an explosive twist in a drama that critics say started in an effort to back up the president's unsubstantiated claim he was wiretapped by President Obama. Last Wednesday, Nunes comes under fire when he shares the new information, not with his committee colleagues, but with the press and the president, who said he felt vindicated.
I somewhat do. I must tell you, I somewhat do.
Then Thursday, spokesman Sean Spicer dismisses suggestions Nunes got his information from the White House.
I don't know why he would come up to brief the president on something that we gave him. So I'm not aware of it, but it doesn't really pass the smell test.
But today, Spicer deflecting questions about the report.
I'm not going to get into any further details on this.
Instead, announcing this letter inviting the bipartisan leaders of the intelligence committees to review newly discovered evidence that may show information collected about Americans was mishandled or leaked.
We are willing to provide them with the information that we have, the materials that we have come across, and I think that is an important step.
The top Democrat on the House committee tonight accepting that offer, but pouncing on the Times report and questioning the White House's transparency.
Is this instead a case where they wish to effectively launder information through our committee to avoid the true source of the information? That question the White House really needs to answer.
With the House committee paralyzed by politics, the Senate panel today hosting its first Russia hearing and taking a shot at its House colleagues.
The Vice Chairman and I realize that if we politicize this process, our efforts will likely fail.
Tonight, a former top White House official tells NBC News whoever originally accessed the intelligence reports shown to Chairman Nunes must have been an insider here at the National Security Council because no one else, they say, would have had access to those secure computers. Lester?
Peter Alexander, a lot to chew on. Thanks. Let's bring in our political director, the moderator of Meet the Press, Chuck Todd. Chuck, these new revelations from the New York Times, one report. If in fact the White House was involved in secretly giving this information to Nunes, what's the fallout?
Look, the fallout is big. I mean, this is a classic case where is the cover-up worse than the crime itself, although what's being investigated obviously is very serious here. But the fact of the matter is this would be an indication that the White House is now interfering with an investigation. And the fact is, it is amazing that the White House essentially now is being consumed by this Russia story, and perhaps the president himself, because at the end of the day, this sort of consuming by the Russia story led to the president's tweet, which then in turn created a series of events that is essentially unraveled on the White House. It got the director of the FBI to not only push back on the accusation, but then confirm that there's an investigation. It has undone the House investigation. It has probably permanently poisoned Devin Nunes' ability to help conduct an investigation, somebody that was once a White House ally. And now they're in a situation where their own credibility is being called into question on everything. This is a situation where they've had a bad problem on their hands in Russia, Lester, and their own actions have made it worse.
All right, Chuck Todd, thank you, Chuck. Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.